So let's pick up the next one. It comes in Sarvaga Sarvavid Bhanur Vishvaksheno Janardhana Vedo Vedavidavyango Vedango Vedavid Kavihi. Janardhana, or one who inflicts sorrow on the evil-minded and creates hell for them. One to whom the devotees pray for achieving the goals of life or the Purusharthas. Jana plus Ardhana means one who makes people cry. The Lord makes sure that the evil-minded persons are crushed and consequently the pious lot are uplifted. So he is called Janardhana. Devotees pray to him to achieve the 4 goals of life, which is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Veda, one who gives knowledge. The word Veda is derived from the root vid, which means to learn. Vedas give knowledge. Lord Vishnu is awareness. Awareness is knowledge. When knowledge of the self unfolds in a person, ignorance disappears instantly. All sorrow ceases forthwith. Out of compassion for my devotees, I, as the innermost spirit, destroy the darkness of ignorance by lighting the lamp of knowledge, is what the Lord says in the Vibhuti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, shloka 11. Come back to this. Vedavid, one who contemplates on Vedas and their meaning. Vedavid is one who knows the essence of Vedas. Vedas came out of Lord Vishnu. He is the author of the Vedas. He says in the Purushottama Prapti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, shloka 15, Vedantakrit Vedavid evam cha aham. I am the author of Vedanta and the knower of Vedas. We'll do a deeper study today of Veda, or the giver of knowledge or wisdom. Friends, while we boldly took upon ourselves to study the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu in the Vishnusahasranama, we also so far have had the tremendous opportunity to also learn the Bhagavad Gita and also portions of the Upanishads. This, as an example, we did in our previous study meeting where we studied portions of the Kathopanishad. We have taken deep appreciation of these scriptures in its meaning and in its magnanimity and also in its immense love for humanity. All its teachings have only been for expanding our capacity and potentials. We have indeed derived immense satisfaction through our studies. In our continuation of that spirit of knowing, let us start today with that very Bhagavad Gita shloka of chapter 10, shloka 11. And like always, I shall say a few words, pause where possible. You can attempt to repeat after me and make it yours. Let us enjoy and gain greater satisfaction in this spiritual journey with this recitation of Sloka 11 of chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Through this, we will attempt to learn about the name Veda of Lord Vishnu. So we'll start with the Shloka 11 of chapter 10. Tesham evanu kampartam aham ajnana jam tamaha nashayam atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata tesham evanukam partam aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayam-atma bhavasto jnana-deepena bhasvata. Out of mere compassion for them, I, abiding in their hearts, destroy the darkness in them, which is born of ignorance, by the luminous lamp of knowledge. So here in the Bhagavad Gita Shloka, we see the hints of I am the jnana-deepa, or the knowledge that removes the darkness. Friends, knowledge is the central differentiating factor that makes humanity stand apart from the rest of the animal kingdom. The Vedic system gives knowledge a great prominence and iconifies Goddess Saraswati, the consort of Lord Brahma, the cosmic brain, as we recognized in our previous study group. When the universe came forth, it was also bundled with the knowledge, or the user manual, if you will, to sustain that universe is the symbolic connotation there. This knowledge or wisdom is also symbolized in our Hindu system as the jnana mudra. The jnana mudra touches the index finger to the thumb. It is said that humanity gained control of its nature when it managed to touch that index finger to the tip of its thumb. The chimpanzee, that science claims as the closest species to humans in the animal kingdom, is unable to perform this dexterous movement. This small motion or gesture may have been the poster statement for that era when it occurred. Such a poster may have read like so: one small gesture by a species in the evolution of animal kingdom is one big revolution for evolution in itself. That simple gesture of jnana mudra forming a precision grip is often considered one of the foundational sparks that set humans apart. When the index finger touched the thumb, humanity unlocked the capacity for control, for creativity, for culture, and for cognition. With this gesture came precision and fine motor control. This gave birth to tool making. It led to the explosion of cognitive development in humans. And it enabled everything from sewing to surgery. Now, what is this knowledge that holds us in humanity apart from the rest of the animal kingdom? What is the nature of this knowledge? To understand that, we will have to borrow from another eminent science personality, a British physicist and mathematician, Sir Arthur Eddington, who, in defining knowledge, says this: awareness in humanity is the aid with which we search for knowledge and the nature of knowledge that we seek. Awareness in humanity is the aid with which we search for knowledge and the nature of knowledge we seek. This is a very penetrating comment Eddington makes here. The nature of knowledge we seek. Veda is knowledge. But what is the nature of this entity called knowledge? For that, we will have to borrow the wisdom of the teachers and the sages from the Vedic era who have poured their wisdom into the body of knowledge, the Upanishads. Here we borrow from Kena Upanishad, which says this: Atmana vindate viryam, vidyaya vindate amrutam. Atmana vindate viryam, vidyaya vindate amrutam. Through Atman, man obtains real strength, and through knowledge, immortality. Very masterly is this statement. Very small strokes, but carry so much of depth and weight. What is said here is this: strength is the product of man knowing himself. Strength is the product of man knowing himself. That knowledge has allowed him to control the external nature. A little of that self-knowledge has enabled man to control other species in the animal kingdom that are stronger than himself. Friends, we all acquire knowledge and skill through our life endeavors. With that acquisition, we jump into the society to earn the fruits it offers. Now, such education that we acquire should be expansive in nature. That education should aid in expanding our personalities, in expanding our capacity to carry a universality in our outlook and be empathetic with others. We men and women should strive to increase not just in our knowledge, but also in our wisdom. If not, an increase in our knowledge will be an increase in our sorrow. We will be burden to the society and also a burden to ourselves. Friends, in recent conversation with our friends, the talk about retirement and preparing for retirement came up. Some shared ideas of financial readiness and others expressed about the fear infused in them on hearing such numbers. Indeed, friends, we have to have strength to face many situations ahead of us. Such strength reaches in the form of financial strength or dhanamada, strength of the family, friends, and the community, or the jati madha. And today we talked about the strength coming from knowledge or jnana madha. In our study today, we have understood a greater strength derived from this knowledge or jnana. Our living life is filled with the activities motivated by love and passion. However, when that life fails to yield its advantages, the mind takes a different course. The love in us turns to a mood of apathy. Things that motivated us is drained of its powers, and we tend to become withdrawn in our activity, and with that, the inner minds are rendered restless. From our earlier study of the name Mahatapa, we appreciated that how much can be done without doing much. Friends, the everyday life of ours is founded on the self needs. However, we work best when we are free from selfish desire and passions. The former American President Ronald Reagan put that in a very elegant way. There is no limit to the amount of good one can do if one does not care who gets the credit. There is no limit to the amount of good one can do if one does not care who gets the credit. Yes, we need to make room in ourselves to grow such dispassionate capacity to work. Now, to develop that capacity, we have to rely upon a unique kind of strength within us, the Atma Bala. When we develop that strength, even a little portion of that, we will see that those inner energies overcome those outside energies that are attempting to control us and overpower us. With that, we shall begin to gain that inner peace or be in peace with oneself. This we studied in our earlier study too, where we understood the sloka Atmanam Ratinam Viddhi. When we took the sublime company of Yama, the time himself, and the young student Nachiketa. This very strength is what is guaranteed to grow in us with the chanting of the Vishnusahasranama. In context of this, I table here the commentary on the Upanishad from a very revered philosopher of India, Shankaracharya. I read out to you the English translation of that commentary from Sri Shankaracharya. The strength proceeding from wealth, friends, magic incantations, drugs, austerity, and mind control cannot overcome time, because these strengths are the product of things which are themselves transitory. The strength proceeding from the knowledge of the self, or the Atman, on the contrary, is the one that aids to overcome time. So friends, here too we see the emphatic statement, strength is the product of knowing oneself. Friends, we come together each week to savor the fruits of such rich teaching and have taken deep satisfaction and joy from these teachings. The joy and satisfaction that are not coming from somewhere outside, but emanating from within us. The source of which we have spoken about in our earlier study as the Anandamaya Kosha, the verily self or Atman. So, in summary, friends, in understanding the name Veda or knowledge, we derive today upon chapter 10, sloka 11 of Bhagavad Gita and appreciated Lord as the bestower of knowledge. We took aid of the statement from physicist and mathematician Sir Arthur Eddington as awareness or consciousness as the entity behind knowledge. We also discovered the Jnana Mudra and how it has been the pivotal gesture in the evolution stage that unlocked the capacity for control, creativity, culture, and cognition. We further derived great satisfaction from the masterly teaching of Kena Upanishad that stated, strength is the product of knowing oneself. Strength is the product of knowing oneself. With that appreciation of the name Veda or knowledge or wisdom, let us meditate upon the Lord that we be bestowed with the knowledge. No, not just the knowledge, but also the wisdom. Wisdom that will expand our capacities, that will expand our personalities, our ability to grow with true strength, and with that strength, our ability to carry empathy towards others. Let us go into our meditation.